very common topic that we're gonna start having at the beginning of the year, and it's about dieting. I don't know about you guys, but I've been eating like nobody's business
Mm.
this last month and a half. And I'm very conscious that as Fab, we have a different approach. And I think that is more workable, but I want to hear your perspective about that. So, Dr. Vaughn, tell me, what would you suggest people to do at the beginning of the year with all these conversations?
Yeah, I always feel like people are wanting to have a revamp at the beginning of the year. And I don't suggest that. I really feel that our relationship with our bodies, our relationship with food are an ongoing relationship like any other one. So like if you have a husband or a partner, like you don't just stop the relationship or start it again in January. Like I feel like people do this on-off thing with their bodies. I think that we
Mhm.
don't need to be perfect with everything that we do. We are getting to know ourselves. And so I would just love for people to continue. So things might be different because of the holidays or whatever it may be, but it's figuring themselves out and learning about their bodies going through the entire year, not just kind of like
Mm.
starting, stopping, because I think the statistics, and I don't know the exacts, but I think what most people start as far as behavior changes in the first week of January. I want to say February, mid-February is usually when people stop or fall off track and then they get discouraged and then they take a while before they kind of get back on track. So as opposed to doing that, if we expect that this is a relationship and we notice when things are not working and we just bring ourselves back on a regular basis and it doesn't matter the calendar date. That is what I would want most people to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. It gives me peace to hear you saying that. Now, there is this one question that I have. What can I do with people who are talking about diets and exercise and going to the gym? Because, I cannot go into a box. That's everywhere.
Mhm.
What would you be? And I want to ask Morgan, what your advice would be with those actions that people take around us?
That's a great question. And I feel like I am navigating that every single day of my life because it's everywhere. Everywhere you look on social media, in real life, like it's everywhere. And I think I've gotten to a point for myself where I'll put in my 2 cents and I'll say, like, why live your life based on rules? Excuse me.
Mhm.
Like, why don't we just try listening to our bodies, you know? And I say it in a way that's not like you're wrong, but more in a way like, what about this way? You know what I mean? Um, because I feel like the world of dieting and all of that just keeps our world very small. So many rules, like all about numbers, and you're just constantly thinking about food, your body, exercise. And when you just try to move to a place of conscious eating or healing your relationship with food in your body, it's just so much more free. Um,
Mhm.
so I think it's definitely an ongoing journey of learning how to navigate the things that people say, but you're on your own path, and that's all you got to remember.
Mhm. I love that. It's just also like raising the voice and saying like, I wanna go by the rules that
Hmm.
everyone goes.
Yeah.
I love that. And you mentioned something that I would love to ask Jojo, because I know that's your strength. And how do I listen to my body, especially at this time of the year?
Hi, this is Dr. Jen. Subscribe to the Fab channel if you're interested in getting more videos, more tips, more strategies about how to get through your eating disorder recovery and to be living your joyful and fulfilling life.
That is $1 million question for all of us. I would say that the listening really comes from actually being silent. The
Mm,
ability to hear your body or hear your voice requires what Fab calls the power of the pause. It's literally stopping and giving yourself space and holding space for yourself to just see what's arising. So presencing yourself to each and every moment. I know that it's very hard to do that. and you have to make it a conscious effort to create that for yourself.
Mm.
Mm. Create the power of the pause and, being silent. Okay, I like that. And Dr. Jen, could you please explain the difference between like taking a diet and being a conscious eater?
So first of all, what I want to say is I love listening to this team. Like I'm like I like I know this team so well, and I'm like I can't wait to hear what they have to say because there's so much wisdom on this team, and we really try to practice what we preach. So this idea of conscious eating. So the thing I would say is diets usually is it's something outside of ourselves, right? It's like here is this plan to follow. And it disconnects us from ourselves, sort of like what we heard each person talking about is like connecting from the inside, listening in the silence to what it is you need. A diet is like a plan on the outside. And then a lot of times it has us really in our head about what we should do. And a lot of it is what we shouldn't do, right? And that's why it's also hard to live like that. Like you heard Dr. Yvonne saying, like, well, in a month and a half, people are usually falling off that diet plan because it's hard to live by something that's outside of us. And so we termed this conscious eating because conscious eating is really about bringing together all parts of the self, bringing together, yes, how we're thinking, how we're feeling, our energy level, maybe what we're feeling in that moment. We might need something one day very differently than we need the next day. So it's starting to really live from the inside out. And that's how we want to start creating that relationship with self and relationship with eating. So something we say as a team, it's like, well, how you're eating is really how you're living. And so we really want to live this full life, but we really want to live like connected to all parts of self, like mind, body, spirit, feeling. Joanne always says the breath. So all parts of self. And that's a constant practice for all of us, right? It doesn't mean we're always going to be consciously eating. Sometimes we are going to be unconsciously eating, but then the practice is noticing that, and then your next meal is an opportunity to try again, right? Like, okay, I get to practice listening to myself and what my needs are at this next meal. So every moment is like every meal, every snack is an opportunity to show up for ourselves differently and to really care for ourselves the best way we can in that moment.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I think this is a very valuable conversation,
Mm.
and I hope it makes a difference for whoever is watching us right now.